How's it going, everyone? I am Splat2431, here with some more Nintendo news. So, this time we have yet some more rumors on the Nintendo NX. There's so much coming out, but right now I have this NeoGaf thread, a post on NeoGaf. And of course, the link will be in the description for you to check out for yourself if you'd like. But I'm just going to go through this and see what I can read from this. Okay, so we have 10K, and they say, like last time, going to be using tiered rumors where T1 means T2, yep. Okay. Right. Okay, so they are not the source of any of this information. They're simply passing along what they heard. It should all be taken with a grain of salt. Okay, don't cry and blame me if by June none of this is true. I mean, things can change. In the development of games and consoles, things can change. So it could be true then, and then suddenly not be true anymore. It works like that. Nirolek told me to contextualize the rumors and was a fan of the tips. Okay, please read it through. Feel free to debate it, get mad at it, get hype, whatever. Just know things can change. Yeah, like I said, can change. Okay, so T3 rumors. So these are going to be the most likely. The NX gimmick, oh boy. I was told not to post this part by some people. Oh man, is he going to get those people in trouble? Is he? Oh man. As usual, take it with a grain of salt. Although I don't know why I would be warned if this was false. I'm not under any NDA. Of course not, because they're getting this information from someone else, and it could end up being false. I was told the variation of this by 3 different sources. I don't believe they have a reason to lie to me. Here goes. Oh man. The NX is going to have a screen controller, whether it's optional or standard, I don't know, and can be used anywhere to play your home console games. The controller itself will not have any processing capabilities. It'll essentially be a dummy Vita. It'll have basic operating system functions to access the Nintendo NX console from anywhere, like a tiny CPU. Nintendo will use enhanced VU gamepad streaming tech and allow the controller to be taken anywhere, connect to the Nintendo NX console at home, likely through Wi-Fi or personal hotspots, and the NX console will likely have to be in standby mode. Basically, it's remote play built into the box and won't require $200 add-on to experience it. This is likely what Kimishima meant in his interview with Sankai. Okay, and there's a link right there to said interview. Different way to play with a dedicated machine, and the whole new way to experience game mantra that's been going around with the Nintendo promotional material. Okay, speculation, right? Nintendo could also sell personal hotspot USB adapters to get internet anywhere. That sounds interesting. And plug either directly into the controller or a wall outlet to not drain the controller battery. The supplementary computing devices may be portable hotspot devices with chips in it to boost the quality of the stream. Maybe the NX could be called the Stream, a speculated final name from the what's that? WUSTs? Okay, oh, note. This does not mean there will not be a handheld. This isn't meant to be a replacement for the handheld, and there will still be limitations when the controller won't have a full operating system or the capability for physical game media. Okay, so So I would just like to say, most people were theorizing that the Nintendo NX, it's basically going to be like a handheld console and home console at the same time, sort of thing. Where, because as you know, with the Nintendo Wii U, the controller has a screen on it, but the gamepad itself does not really process any of the game at all. It basically, the console is streaming the video footage to the gamepad screen. That's how you can do things like off-TV play. But that also means that you can't just take your gamepad away from your Wii U and just use it like a handheld. I mean, if you think about it, that's what it looks like. If you look at the gamepad, it looks like it could just be a handheld all on its own. So the hybrid idea that some people have is that it will be like the Wii U. It'll have a screen in the controller, but the controller itself is also the next handheld, and the games will be cross-compatible with each other, and like that sort of idea, which I think is really interesting. That's so interesting, because then you can take these home console games, and then you can play them on the go, and you'll have the same save data. Just downscaling them for the handheld. Yeah, but here it says that it's going to be able to do something like that through Wi-Fi, which I guess works. But then you have the problem of you need to leave the NX turned on. You need to leave it turned on while you're out. So if you want to use this while you're out, obviously, otherwise what's the point? So you would need to leave your NX turned on while you're out to be able to use the controller as a handheld. So at least you could do that, but it doesn't sound very convenient. Not to mention that they also say you can't actually plug your games into the controller. So you would say you're out and have your DS with you. You could bring like, I don't know, 2 to 3 game cartridges with you, and then you could just switch them if you want. Or in the case of downloadable games, you can just go to the menu and switch to a different game. So they say it has basic operating system, so I guess that could work. So I guess that really could work for downloaded games, but for physical games, I do not think that works. Yes, so you would have. So for those who play mostly on physical cartridges or copies of games, rather, you would need to decide what game you would want to play before. Plug that into your NX, leave the NX turned on while you go out, and then that's the game you play. I mean, I don't really switch games anyway too much. Okay, and now let's move on to the T2 rumors. Oh man, there's a lot here. Like I said, it's in the description. So okay, here we go. T2 rumor. Luigi's Mansion 3 is in development for the NX. This rumor gained popularity a while ago from Gino. Okay, is that how you pronounce it? Whatever. But this isn't my source. This was a T1 to start, but today I got another source to give some info on it. The two different sources have told me that it is in development for NX. One source told me it's being developed by Next Level Games, who is big enough to do this with Federation Force at the same time. One source said it started as a Wii U game, but after the disappointing performance of the Wii U and the scheduled release of the game being late in the console cycle, Nintendo decided to switch development over a big deal of his workspaces. To support this, they have a link. An employee still edited his post last year. Okay, so I don't know much about Luigi's Mansion. Never played any of those games. Yeah. Um. So yes. I don't think there's really much point in developing games for the Wii U now, because like, I mean, why bother? The NX is coming so soon, and when people know that the next console is coming, why would they bother with getting a Wii U now? Yeah, because you could just get the next one. Not to mention that there's not too many games on the Wii U anyway. Okay, so now we have T1 rumors. Uh, this seems to be the most plentiful of the T1 rumors seem to be the most plentiful. And I guess that would be to be expected. Okay, here we go. The NX will use a custom Polaris-like GPUs. So, for those you don't know, GPU means graphical processing unit. It's like a CPU, except it's only for graphics. So CPU central processing unit and GPU graphical processing unit. Or otherwise, you may better know them as graphics cards. Okay, moving on. Likely will be on a FinFET 4 nanometer fabrication node. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to read that massive quote down there, by the way. The source told me it's on the same architecture with heavy customizations, of course. It will contain the feature set of Polaris. It is marginally better than the PS4 and theoretically could be 2 times the power of the PlayStation 4 GPU. I asked about PlayStation 4K. Oh yes, the PlayStation 4K. That's another thing being ruined. So it's either like going to be an upgrade of the PS4 or it's going to be like the next PlayStation. I have no idea. PlayStation 4K being rumored to have a GPU twice as powerful as the one OG PS4 and how the theoretical performance of the NX would be. I was told theoretically it could be close to the PlayStation 4K rumored specs. Of course, we know nothing of Polaris or the PS4K specs, but he gave that metric. Right, okay. So basically they're talking about the graphics card here. So it seems they're saying it's going to be double the power of the PlayStation 4, but what's the PlayStation 4K gonna be? See, here's the thing. I mean, it's all well and good that the Nintendo NX can be better than Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but what they need to do is think about the future. What consoles will be coming out next? What's the PlayStation 4K specs gonna be? Not the PlayStation 4. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to paraphrase here, but one comment from a source about the power of NX was that devs could port over a PS4 game easily and have power to spare, even the most demanding ones. My own theory is any game that dips below 30 frames per second on the PlayStation 4 will likely stay at 30 frames per second on NX, and maybe with some enhanced effects. Okay, that sounds okay. Right. One feature he highly touched. No, that's not touched. It says toted. Okay. One feature he highly touted, which improves performance greatly in games, especially graphically demanding ones, such as AAA open world games, is primitive discard accelerated. A NeoGaf member described it as, oh man, I'm not reading that quote. Okay, just skip that. I'm not reading the quotes. So 14 nanometers is likely in 2016, and Nintendo could still sell it at a reasonable price and not lose too much money or even break even. Oh no. So they would they be selling at a loss? I'm not sure. The thing is, though, people say that Nintendo has loads of money backed up in case something goes wrong. So I guess they could be okay with taking risk. Nintendo, I guess Nintendo can take risks since they do have so much money backed up. Okay, TLDR, the NX CPU is using features that are debuting on the Polaris chip, and therefore heavily speculated to be a Polaris chip, as that would work in a handheld too, and help AMD prove they can make low wattage chips with good performance for smaller devices. GCN 1.3, Vulkan, primitive discard accelerator, etc. Okay. So a couple of more points are written here. Nintendo is using Vulkan with NX. This goes hand in hand with using a Polaris-based GPU, and goes with the announcement of Nintendo joining Chronos. But the dev I spoke to about the GPU, who is porting a PlayStation 4 game to the NX, said Vulkan is not ready yet. As of 2015 December, SDK meaning Software Development Kit, should be in an update in May, and they are using a variation of the PlayStation 4 API, GM and X, until Vulkan is ready. Nintendo is providing some nice tools like GM and X to help devs port games from PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4 to the NX. Okay then. So this is talking about the ability to port games which devs would need. Okay, so most dev kits won't be given until Nintendo formally releases the NX. As my previous post indicated, Nintendo is none too happy with the leaks and is keeping things on lockdown. Outside of close partners and internal teams, most devs are using SDKs until the NX reveal. Not a big deal, but I was told specs are pretty much final as of now, and the May update will likely be for the final specs sheet and not target specs. So they're closing in on the final specs of the console. It's starting to be finalized. And of course, Nintendo is not happy with the leaks. I don't think anyone would be, really. Any game publisher like Nintendo themselves would not be happy with leaks, screwing up how they were going to market things. Anyway, okay. So Mercury Steam has a dev kit and is making an already announced game for the NX. The only announced game they have is Raiders of the Broken Planet, currently under development for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. This is likely it. Take this one as T0.5. Oh, I thought that was a link. I wasn't sure though. Okay, never mind. Final Fantasy XV. I don't know what number that is in Roman numerals. Okay. Final Fantasy XV on NX. My single source on this said he's heard some of his sources mention it's coming to NX. No idea when. I pressed for FFVIIR. I think R means remastered. No, Roman numerals. But nobody has heard of it. Gaf's very own mod, Kegari, hinted that Sony may have co-funded it, and it may never get released outside of PlayStation 4 and PC, like Street Fighter V, Street Fighter 5. I know V is 5. NX will likely launch at different times per region, to be expected. Only heard this from one source, but it does make sense if the NX does use 14 nanometer chips, as there's risk of not having enough of these chips ready on shelves for holiday 2016. I mean, I'm not sure about 2016 release date. Well, I'm starting to warm up to it, honestly. No regions were specified, but one could assume, with the slow adoption of consoles in Japan and the popularity of handhelds over there, the NX will launch in the West first, like some past Nintendo consoles. Consoles are more popular outside of Japan, like North America and here in Europe. So yes, in Japan, home consoles are not very popular, and handhelds, people like handhelds over there in Japan. Here in Western areas, it's kind of the other way around. Most people are not into handhelds, but a home console, that's what they would like. So you have to think about this. Nintendo has to kind of cater to both groups, you know, with this. So I guess maybe that was a slight, at least a slight, influence on the way the Wii U was designed. Okay, there are lots of NX games in development. One source told me to post this, so I won't edit it all. Okay, and you can read that for yourself. And last of all, a new IP are being developed. IP meaning intellectual property. I asked this because I noticed some complaints about how there were no leaks about new IP, and Nintendo NX was looking like another Mario/Zelda factory with a bunch of remasters and ports. The source said, "I'm not allowed to give specifics, but it's a sure bet." Now, if you'll excuse me, what? Okay, and that's it. And that's it. That's the whole post. Wow, so they say loads of interesting things here. Obviously, I mean the things at the top are more likely, given that they tiered this by how many sources they have backing it up. So these rumors are the things we can be most sure of. The NX will have a screen in the middle. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes when the NX comes out, and we'll see how it's like to use this thing. So, what are your opinions on this? Because I'm honestly, I mean, it's kind of exciting, but I'm kind of also not sure on this stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like because it helps out with the channel a lot, and be sure to subscribe for some more Nintendo news. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.